Alrighty, welcome back. We are on episode number 5 of Divinity Original Sin, part 2, the definitive edition. So, last episode we went through the character creation. So I created our character, and we are now going to start the game. Confirm, are you sure you are done with character creation? I am.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough.
Master Silent. Okay. So right off the bat, they altered the UI between Divinity 1 and Divinity 2. And from what I can see, this looks to be more clinical. Like a more straight line clinical UI. This doesn't appear to be an improvement on Divinity 1 as far as the AI goes. I mean, as far as the UI goes. Alright, so we have Master Silent here.
Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Okay, report to our upstairs. So can we scroll back? We can. Alright, so we can see the entire conversation. I like how they kept the picture of Master Silent and the picture of you, and they kind of cut it in half. Alright. Alright, she just flipped the switch on us. Alright. We were strapped down.
So it wasn't a dream after all.
Okay. Basic movement. Welcome to Divinity Original Sin 2. Click anywhere on the ground or hold left mouse button to continuously hold left mouse button continuously to begin exploring. Okay. Basic camera control. Hold middle mouse button and move the mouse to rotate the camera. Zoom in or out using mouse scroll up and mouse scroll down. Understood. Okay. So, first thing I want to do is hit escape. So this is the first chance we get to save. And let's put this as start. Alright. So, from the opening, there was a woman who was conjuring magic, and her magic caused monsters to appear and begin attacking, and she did this on purpose. She was captured by something called a magister, and we just saw that magister talking to us, the one that just released us from what appears to be a torture device. So that sorceress at the beginning, she said she did it on purpose. So she wanted to be caught by these magisters, I guess. And she said she was trying to kill God Woken, but instead became part of their story. I really want to see that opening again before I move on. The only way we can do that, though, would be to start a new game. Alright, we just saved it. Let's go to the main menu. Are you sure? Yes. Alright. Story or continue. If I continue, it's just going to load back into the game there and I won't be able to see it. Too bad I can't see the cinematic again. So the only way to see that again is to do this. Okay. So we'll just go into character creator again and just hit start. Oh. You could see that the origin characters were also, they were bound and being led onto a ship. And they had a collar around their neck. I noticed Losie's hair, I noticed the dwarf, I noticed the Red Prince, I think. And Ifan even. So all the companions looked like they were being led on the ship as well. Okay. Alright, let's... Are you done? Yeah, we're done. Okay, let's see it again. Alright, so we're in a city here. Looks like an expansive city. Like a capital city.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic.
Okay, source magic.
And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned.
Okay. So the source magic brought him.
And collared. And sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
Okay. Okay, so a single drop of source magic and monsters appeared and started a carnage. And she planned that to happen.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now, no need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Okay, so that's Magister Cylon.
What a way to wake. Wooden boards and iron shackles. The Divine Order's hospitality leaves much to be desired indeed.
He had a lot more to say. Holy shit. The Divine Order's hospitality. Okay, so basic movement. Welcome to Divinity Original Sin 2. Click anywhere on the ground or hold left mouse button continuously to begin exploring. Basic camera control. Hold middle mouse button and move the mouse to rotate the camera. Zoom in and out using mouse up and mouse roll down. Alright, so one drop of source magic caused these monsters to appear. She wanted that to happen. She wanted to be caught. She wanted to be collared. She wanted to be on this ship. Okay, and she wants to kill something called Godwoken. And from the Red Prince, we just figured out that we have been caught by the Divine Order. Whatever that is. Alright. Okay. So let's take a look at the UI. So Magister Cylon went this way. Oh, there's another. Okay, so see how this one doesn't have understood on it? So see, that was like 5 or 6 lines that Larian expects you to read in less than 2 seconds. So the first thing I want to do is find the log. Let's go down here. So let's go to the journal. Alright, so let's just go over the UI here. So we have show inactive quest down here. Journal, but we don't have a quest. Active and archived. When you're active, you have an on map and set archive down here. Then we have map. So we are on the hold. So I'm using the mouse scroll and it's letting me scroll in and out. So we can also click to place marker, hold and drag to move the map. So if we hit negative and positive, so in and out, down. Okay, so we can drag the map around. Alright, so the legend here, we have a red flag as a quest marker, yellow flag as a location marker, blue flag is a custom marker. What appears to be a hurricane is a waypoint shrine? No. Oh, that looks like a universe. I think that's the icon that represents where the Void Dragon from Divinity 1 came out of. Huh. Then we have this chest, which is a secret, and then this generic icon that says exit, so this says ladder. Okay. So if I right click on this map, nothing happens. If I left click on it, I can set a map marker. Start. If I just click on it once. Okay, if you see over there in the mini map to the top right, you can see the circle around it. I guess those are little arrows pointing towards the center. So if we click on it again, it takes it off. Alright, what if we double click on it? Okay, we can edit the map marker. What if we just do that? No description. Interesting, but it doesn't take it off. If I right click on it, map marker, are you sure you want to delete? Yes. Okay, so that's how that works. So we are in the hold. Dialogues. Okay, so it has a record of the dialogues. Our dialogue with Magister Cylon here. Okay, So she asked us if we were a bit groggy and informed us that we were sedated. Okay, and then she wants us to report to her upstairs. So now we'll go to the tutorial message. Okay, so character creation. That's interesting. Oh, that might be because I just started a new game. Huh. So there were messages that went into the tutorial log here, I think, from character creation. But since I started the Red Prince, I think it messed it up. And now that I'm curious about this, I want to double check and see how that worked. Okay, so if we go back to the main menu again. Okay, so if we go to story again, single player, tactician mode, regular, begin. Okay. And since I know he had a special, had a unique line, I'll pick somebody else. So, see how this showed up in the tutorial log, but the other ones didn't? It's because I think when I started a new game, somehow it didn't register the fact that I did this right here. Or that. Because I didn't do it when I created the new game. I think that's how it worked, but let's double check. So let's make sure that we go through all the ones that we're supposed to see here. And I believe I did that. Did that. And I think that was all of the everything that we could do. So that should be all the tutorial messages. So let's start the game with Sibyl and see what she has to say. Yeah. Okay.
It all happened like I knew it would.
It's funny, they all look like halflings.
A single drop of source magic. And like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
Source muted.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now, no need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Ugh, what a dismal way to wake. In the belly of the beast. Let's see if I can grope my way out.
Okay. Basic movement. Welcome to Divinity Original Sin 2. Click anywhere on the ground or hold left mouse button continuously to begin exploring. Basic camera control. Hold middle mouse button and move the mouse to rotate the camera. Zoom in or out. Using mouse scroll up and mouse scroll down. Understood. Okay, so now if we go to here and take a look at the tutorial. See, there they go. They show up here. Okay. That's weird. I wonder why that happens when you create a new game. Okay, so origin stories. Origin characters have a rich personal background, custom stories, and unique tags. Note that custom characters don't have origin stories. Origin instruments. Select your origin instrument. It will take the lead in the music during fights and will highlight various moments of your adventure. Alright. We have stats. So we saw all of these in the character creator. Exploration. These are the two we just got. So it seems like creating the new game kind of bugged the journal a little bit. So if we go down here now, so we can press L to get to the journal. So if we press L and go to tutorials, see, now they show up. Interesting. Okay, so this is the one that you have to speed read. Okay, so now press L, go back, and we have camera free. Camera free. The camera stopped following your party member. You can look around freely using your arrow keys. To recenter your party, press home or double click on a party member's portrait. Holding left mouse button does the same. Alright, so if we go out here and hit home. Alright, we come over here and double click. Alright, if we go over here, this is kind of tricky. Hey, there's a sheep. Yep. If I hold the left mouse button, yeah, it does. It takes a step, but it does swing it back to it. Alright. So it's interesting that creating the new game somehow bugged the tutorial section. It's kind of weird. Alright. So let's go over the UI. Let's start up at the top left. So we have our portrait. So Yvonne Bainray avatar. We are level 1. We have 30 of 30 health. We have 0 of 1 source point. And we have 15 initiative. We are source muted. So what is this icon here? What does the crown icon mean? Just the first person on the top? Because I don't have leadership, so I don't think it means you're a leader. That's weird. I don't know what that is. And then you see we have a red bar, and then under that there's like an oval, an oblong shape. Then we have source muted. Source muted, huh? Characters can no longer use source magic or receive source points. 0 of 1 source points. So whatever this thing is here under the red line, that must be the source point. And then we have the white frame there. Alright. Okay. So to the top right, we have the map. So the mini map. We have the cardinal direction north there. So if I move around. Okay. So there was an option. What if we go into the options here? I think it was under gameplay. Rotate minimap. If we click on that and apply. Okay, accept. Resume. So that makes the minimap stay where north is true north. I don't know if I want to do that, but that's what that does. Okay, so let's go back into the options and change that back and see if I want to do that as we play along. Alright. Okay, so what do we have here? Ping. Okay. So that's probably for multiplayer games. Or cooperation games. I remember playing some type of war games long ago where you would used to ping people to let them know, hey, get the fuck over here. So yeah, that's probably what that is. Then we have an X and Y coordinate. So we're at X3, Y negative 307. And then you can see on the mini map, sheep and ladder. Interesting, it doesn't have a... There we go. And then we have this thing here. What is this? Tension medium. You shouldn't do anything out of the ordinary. Alright, I don't know what that's for. Alright, then in the bottom center we have our hit point bar. So right now we are 30 at 30. So in the at the bottom right we have this log. Okay, so this is the combat log. Alright, so it's set to transparent background. You can change that if you click on this little eye, lock log background. It makes it where it stays not transparent. Right now it's unlocked, so I should be able to move this around. Alright, I can. You should be able to resize it with this arrow here. Like so. And if I click X, it goes down. If I click this again, it pops back up. In Divinity 1, this log was broken and almost completely fucking useless. So right now it's showing that I should be able to see the combat, dialogue, banter, and item interaction logs. Then we can filter that by doing this if you don't want to see those. Like so, and if you lock this screen, you can't unfilter it, like you can't do anything to this. You can't move it. So let's unlock it. Let's move it down where it's supposed to be here. And resize it a bit. A little smaller. And I'm just gonna lock this and forget about it. Because it was useless in part 1. I can't see it being any use here. Unless they improved it. I don't know. We'll check as we play along and see if it actually does anything. Alright, so let's check out the quick save. So if we hit F5, we have quick save. Okay. So on the bottom left, we have another chat box. This is for multiplayer. So we're going to go ahead and make it where it's not transparent. And again, this is something I am not going to be using, so we're going to lock this and forget about it. Alright. So one major change I see here, and I think I'm going to like it a lot. If you see down here, we have all of these spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to equals, and then after equals we have a lot more spaces. So one of the major limitations of Divinity Sin Part 1 was that you only had, I think it was 10. Maybe it had minus and equals. So you would have one row of up to equals, and that's it. And then you can flip through 5 different rows of hotbars. So if we check out our hotbar here, so if we click on, let's try to just drag something off for now. Let's say this Dome of Protection. Let's try to drag it off. Moving items and skills out of your hotbar is only possible if it's unlocked. Okay. So try it again. Unlock it. Unlock your hotbar to drag items in and out of it. Okay. So we can drag now. So lock that down. So see here on these arrows, 1. So if I unlock this bar, can I put this way over here? Yes, I can. So, wow, you have a lot more hotbar spots. Excellent. That was needed. It was annoying having to flip back and forth between 5 different hotbars to see all the things that you wanted to do. And it looks like, let's see, did they retain 5? So if we scroll down, you switch to another deck in your hotbar. You can switch back and forth with F or R. Alright, so 5. So hit F. What is this? Basic attack, 2 AP. Attack with your currently equipped weapon. We don't need that on a hotbar. So F, and then we can go R, and that cycles through. So yes, look at this. We have so many more spaces. This is excellent. So I might be able to get away playing the entire game with just 2 hotbars. That would be nice. That's a massive improvement. 100% massive improvement. Alright, so these are our starting skills. So this I can't even use yet, so I'm going to leave that over there. This we'll probably be using just about every single fight, but it's like a buff, so we'll leave that over here. That's a crowd control. That's pretty much a crowd control, and this is pretty much a crowd control. You know, I really don't have an offensive spell yet. These are all pretty much crowd control. Alright, so let's lock that down. This change is nice. This is going to be a really good change. At least they improved that. I don't like the UI. Comparative to Divinity 1, Divinity 1's looked better. It looked more... I don't know. It looked more archaic, which felt like what the game is. This looks more clinical, like you're walking into a Chipotle, or the rebranded Cracker Barrels. You know, it's just like aesthetic is just terrible. I don't like how they set it up, but I do love this hotbar change. Something I have noticed though, above this frame in Divinity 1, there used to be a party formation button so that you can put the party in any formation you wanted. Let's check up on, let's go into the escape screen here. Resume. Here's the formation. So they took it from the UI and put it into this type of menu. Wow, they really went all the way on this one. So in Divinity 1, these available preset formations that we see here, these were all above the portrait to the top left, so that you can easily click on it and go into whatever formation you wanted. So they changed that. I don't know if it's going to be for the good or better, but yeah, interesting. I wonder why that one puts her there. Okay, I see how it does it. It's just put a dime in there. Okay, so you have a checkbox that says use positions at the start of combat. So whenever in Divinity 1, whenever you entered combat, they would automatically go to the formation. That's how it would start. It wouldn't matter where they are on the battlefield. They would all come to that formation. So it looks like this is unchecked by default. And it seems like that means that they are going to allow you to be more proactive with your positioning of your party members so that you can take advantage of the environment more. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. We'll probably end up coming in here and revisiting this at some other point. But that's that. So let's go back into that escape menu. Party management. I don't know what that is. Invite players. I'm sure that's multiplayer. Save, load. Gift bag features. Okay. Connectivity menu. That's probably multiplayer. Options, main menu, and quit. Let's check out that. What do we got going on here? Alright, so first one, 8 action points. Increases the base maximum action points of hero characters to 8. Huh. So it seems like they have reworked how action points are given to the characters. In Divinity 1, there were several different factors that went into how many action points you had, and depending on where you spent points, you could have, like, I don't know, up to 15 action points. And depending on how you spent points determined how fast, how many action points you gained per turn after the start of the combat, how many you actually had during at the start of the combat, and how many maximum action points you could have. So this is leading me to believe that they've changed that action point system dramatically. We'll have to look and see. Alright. 9 lives. Transforms the black cat into a follower. Once rescued, a whistle will appear in your inventory. You can use this if your cat gets lost, or if you want to change who it follows. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. So we're going to meet a black cat that apparently likes to get lost, and also may follow somebody that you don't want it to follow. Alright. To a follower. Weird. Herb gardens. Plant your own herb garden. Take any herb and combine it with a bucket to create a seedling. Then just place your seedling in the ground and watch it grow. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. Okay, so you're growing your own herbs, huh? Source meditation. Restore source points whenever a character rests. Alright. So that leads me to ask, how do you restore source points if you don't do it through rest? Alright. From the ashes. Never underestimate the power of good sleep. Simply use the bedroll at any non-combat time to resurrect your dead allies. As far as I remember, the only way to resurrect somebody in Divinity 1 was to use a resurrect scroll. Interesting. Animal empathy. Allows all players allows all player characters to talk to animals without having to spend a talent point. Also changes Pet Pal talent to grant maximum positive attitude in all conversations with animals. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. So all players can talk to animals and they all have this maximum positive attitude. Well, it's good to know that there is a scale, apparently, with the attitude of animals. Hagglers. Let the reputation and skill of your whole party help when you want to haggle for the best prices. Alright. You would think that would have been part of the default behavior, but apparently not. That's disappointing. Combat randomizer. When entering combat, One or more random enemies will receive one of the new special statuses created for this modification. This will change everything you thought you knew about combat. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. Crafter's Kit. Plenty of new recipes and unique items to craft. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. You would think this would be default in the game. I don't like that they're adding these, because these seem like they're going to be modifications. Divine talents. New talents. Have you ever wanted to resurrect your allies as zombies? Do you hate missing the one attack that really matters? This modification contains remedies to those problems and many more. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. You know, I did notice that the talent list was far less than the list in Divinity 1. They got rid of a lot of them. Enhanced Spirit Vision increases the active radius of spirit vision and makes it last indefinitely. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. I don't know what spirit vision is, but it sounds like it would be nice if it lasted indefinitely. Okay. Fort Joy Magic Mirror. Manifest a magic mirror in the arena of Fort Joy, along with a new character creation level. This allows you to respec before moving on to the next act of the game. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. So you're going to be able to respec, it looks like. Okay. So note, on respecing in Divinity 1, the way they did it was you had to make a deal with a demon to respect, which turned out to be kind of I don't know, tricky, because one of the companions, Jahan, would not deal with the demons, so you couldn't respect him. But when you respect your characters, you lost all of your skills. All of the skills you purchased, gone. You had to have a new skill book for every single solitary skill. So I wonder if they did that still, or not. I sure as hell hope they didn't. Improved organization. Find a collection of special bags that allow you to better organize your inventory. To better and automatically organize your inventory. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. Okay. Pet Power. Pet Power enhances the summoning class and its infusion spells immensely. With this mod, you can cast infusion spells on all available summons, not just your own, incarnate. Each summon receives different skills depending on the base elemental infusion type. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. So that tells me that they believed that the Conjurer class, the summoning skills, were not powerful enough in the base game and needed to buff them up. But if that's the case, why didn't they just buff them up? Why put it as a DLC? Sorcerous Sundries. In each major hub, you can now find a mysterious vendor selling exotic and potent artifacts. These artifacts can upgrade a character's own gear with immense power, bringing them up to the player's current level. Note that this is a persistent modification that cannot be turned off once activated. So I guess we're going to outlevel our equipment. And then Endless Runner. Find a new icon in your hotbar, which you can use to toggle sprint off and on. Sprint increases your movement speed and the movement speed of your followers. Okay. So that's all the gift bag stuff. So now I have to do this. I gotta check this out. So Does the gift bag modifications stop achievements, Steve achievements from being able to be gotten? Like, is it going to screw up the achievements? Let's see. Let's see if I can find an answer to that before we move on here. Alright, so it seems to say that using the gift bag modifications will disable Steam achievements. Alright, well, that takes all of that away. So, moving on. Alright, so let's take a look at the first section here. We have inventory. You know, it looks like it says I. Click on that. Inventory intro. This is your inventory. Everything you pick up is stored here. Press right mouse button on objects in your inventory to find out what you can do with them. Understood. Alright, we have a minor healing potion. 1 AP. Heals 30. A potion that restores your vitality. It makes a soft tinkling sound when you shake it. Alright, so you notice at the bottom right of that description there is a weight symbol and a coin symbol. So this potion weighs 0.25 kilograms and it's valued at 20 gold pieces. So if you sell it, it should be 20 gold pieces. But this is going to depend on your bartering skill and probably your attitude, or their attitude towards you. Alright, so that's what those two symbols are. Alright, Resurrect Scroll, 3 AP. Resurrect a dead ally to 20% of their vitality at a location within 13 meters range. 13 meter range. A scroll is a one-time use spell used to start casting. So, comment on that. Based on Divinity 1, the AI was generally pretty decent at exposing your weakness and going after it. So if someone were to die and you use this resurrection scroll and you resurrected them right at the spot they died, in all likelihood any NPCs or monsters are going to target that guy and try to kill him immediately, because he doesn't have his vitality. He's almost dead. So when you resurrect, you need to make sure you're resurrecting a character a long way away from combat, or you know, he's just gonna get shot down again until you get, or until you go into the talent. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at that. So, talents. Talents are a character's unique qualities and slightly change the rules for that particular character. So, the resurrect was morning person. When resurrected, you resurrect to full health. So if you have this, then resurrecting anywhere, it doesn't matter. But until you get this, assuming that you try to, assuming you know you do want to get this, make sure you're resing people far away, or you're just going to waste your rest rolls. Alright, then we have a backpack, seemingly bottomless, and that's kind of interesting because in Divinity 1, I think the backpacks were bottomless, and it's probably the same here, but it's kind of funny that they identified that. So if we open, we right click on that, we can add to wares. I don't know what that is. That's new. But I suppose that means you're marking it for sale, so it makes it easier to sell. Maybe they add some functionality to the shops. We can add it to the hotbar. So a note on backpacks and hotbars. In Divinity 1, you're able to put a backpack on the hotbar and then open the backpack up and use items that are in there while you're in combat. So you can put like all of your elemental arrows in a backpack, where you can put all of your grenades in a backpack, or your scrolls in a backpack, and instead of it cluttering up your entire bar with each individual one, all you need to do is have the backpack sit up there, so you can just click on it and open it up and see what you want to go. And I'll show you that as we play along here. If we right click, we can drop it on the ground. So drop it. If I double click on the backpack now on the ground, it will open up the backpack. So if I pick it up, right click, pick up and add to wares and open. Let's pick it up. Press I to access your character pane. So if we press I, okay. So notice that I brings up not only your inventory, but your character pane as well, or character sheet. So they are connected. Alright, so if you right click on the backpack and hit open, backpack. Use a backpack to store grenades, arrows, and potions. Place it in your hotbar to quickly access its contents, I think is what it said. It went so quick. I don't think I'm going to try to read those anymore. I'll just let them pass by and look at it once we get past that. So if we get into the inventory, use a backpack to store grenades, arrows, or potions. Place it in your hotbar to quickly access its contents. Alright, so you can place anything in that backpack, but... Alright, so if we drop this again and double click, we open it from there, but we don't pick it up. Alright, so we have another scroll here. 2 AP. It's an electric discharge scroll. An electrical jolt deals 5 to 6 air damage to target character. Set stunned. Set status shocked. Set shot for 2 turns. Damage is based on your level and receives bonus from intelligence. Resisted by magic armor. 13-meter range. A scroll is a one-time use spell used to start casting. So if I wanted to, I can open this up, stick these in there. So I can't show you now, but oh, I guess I can show you. So see that? So now if you close this and open it up, and you can literally put everything you have in a single backpack. At least you could in part 1. I don't know if there ends up being an end in this one, but that's what you can do with one backpack. So now you can take this backpack and you can stick it on a hotbar. So when we get in combat, I can just open up here and cast whatever I want from here. So if I right click on the scroll, add to wares, add to hotbar, drop item, combine with, that's interesting, and cast skill. So I can cast it right from the backpack. So as you see, this red scroll has combined with. So in part 1, the only things that come up with combined with are things that are used in recipes. And I don't believe resurrection scrolls were used in recipes in part 1. So they must have added something. If we take a look at here, so this is also a combined with. So there must be some new mechanic where you're able to combine scrolls with stuff. Interesting. Alright, so we can leave that as is. We're probably not going to use the backpack in that function, but yeah. Alright, so that's that. So while we're over here on the inventory screen, let's take a look here. So we have filters here. We have all. We have equipment, consumables, magical, inventory, miscellaneous, books and keys. and wares. So notice you don't see these scrolls even though you have them because they are in a backpack. Now if I take this out, like so, and drag this off the hotbar, which is locked, so unlock that, drag this off the hotbar. Now, if we go to magical, we see the scrolls. So it doesn't see the things that are in the backpacks. So it looks like it shows you Yavanel's Bernay's bag, right? It shows how much gold we have, shows how much weight we're carrying. We're 3 of 100, and then it looks like we can minimize this. Interesting. We have an auto sort button. Not sure what that sorts by. So if we go sort by, we have type, durability, weight, value, and last picked up. So if you go last picked up, okay, value, weight, durability, and type. Okay, and auto sort does by type apparently. Alright, then we have a minimize and an X. So what's the difference between these two? Ooh. Okay. Okay. So that's that screen. Alright, so let's take a look at the character sheet. Alright, let's go back to default, which was over here, the attributes. So that's what it looked like here. So first thing is, let's look at our equipment. We have a helm slot and an checkbox here. Helmet visible. Helmet visual is always visible. So we can take that off. Okay. Then we have the chest armor. So this is a chest slot. Threadbare gown. Level 1. Worn and torn and poorly darned. This shirt has seen better days. Common item. So, see if I can remember. In Divinity 1, you had common items which were listed as white, so you can see how common is the letters are white. Then we had uncommon, which were green. Then we had rare, which were blue. Blue. Then there was gold, which was unique. Purple was epic. Yellow, I think, was legendary. No, yellow was divine. So I think it went common, uncommon, rare, epic. Epic was like purple or lavender. Then yellow was divine, I think. And then unique was golden. So I think there were 6 tiers. Alright, so that's probably going to be the same here. So we have a glove spot, a belt slot, a boot slot, main hand slot, offhand slot, leggings, threadbare pants, leggings level 1. These shabby pants are standard issue for all sorcerers quarantined by the Divine Order. From the rips and bloodstains on this pair, you can conclude that you are not their first owner. So we have been quarantined by something called the Divine Order. It looks like we have a ring slot, another ring slot, and a neck slot. An amulet slot, I guess. Source collar amulet. Cannot be unequipped. Okay. Set source muted. Unbreakable. Level 1. The sturdy collar hums faintly with energy. Powerful magic swirls within. Alright, so this is what's causing us to be source muted, is that we have this collar on. Alright. So down here we have vitality. How much damage you can take before you die. So we have 30 vitality simply because we are level 1. Action points. Alright, action points. How much you can do in one turn. Maximum action points, 6. The number of action points you can have in total. You save up unused action points from previous turns, but never more than this. Base of 6. Start action points. 4. How many action points you start combat with. Base of 4. Turn action points 4. How many action points you gain in subsequent turns. Base of 4. Okay, and then source points. Source points are currency for certain powerful skills. So I assume that that red diamond means that you need to have 1 source point. Although I wonder why that's red and the others are blue. Maybe it's because it's melee and magic. Maybe the blue diamond is magic and the red diamond is melee. I don't know. But why the color differences. But you see that symbol, like the oblong section? So if we look at up top here at the portrait, that oblong section, so it shows you that we have 0 and 1 source point. So that's what that symbol is there, the blue symbol. Okay. So let's take a look at. We've already looked at the attributes, so we know about strength, finesse, intelligence, constitution, memory, and wits. Interesting note. None of those had descriptions for increasing action points. So in Divinity Part 1, you could increase the amount of action points you had by increasing your attributes, certain attributes, and it looks like they took that away. So they massively overhauled the action point functionality of the game. Interesting. Alright, so when we have damage, the damage you inflict when successfully hitting an enemy or an item. So then we have our total damage, 1 to 2, and it tells you where it's from the fists, 1 to 2. Action point cost 2, so it costs 2 to attack. Critical chance. How much critical chance you have to strike a critical attack when attacking with a weapon or when using a skill that is weapon based. Critical multiplier 150%, 5% from wits plus 5%. Alright. So attacking with a weapon or when using a skill that is weapon based. So see, this isn't... I don't think this applies to magic at all. It may apply to wands, I'm not 100% sure, because they're weapons, but they're casting... They're doing elemental damage, so I don't know if wands would be... if you can critical hit with a wand or not. However, that's what I think this is about. We read this earlier. Savage Sortilege gives all magical skills a critical chance equal to your critical chance score. So I don't believe, like, if you have a two-handed staff that throws whatever, a poison, or 2 wands that throw out elemental damage, I don't think you can crit with them unless you get this. Then it would use whatever you have here. Not 100% sure on that, but I think that's how it's probably going to work. Accuracy. Your chance to hit an enemy. Base, 95%. Okay. Seems awfully high, but alright. Dodging. Your ability to evade attacks. We cannot evade any attack, apparently. Physical armor. Physical armor absorbs physical damage. As long as your physical armor is above 0, you are immune to physical statuses like bleeding and knockdown. So yes, this mechanic is completely different from part 1. Which is kind of good because there were a lot of potions and scrolls in part 1 you just did not need to ever use. You just didn't. You were so powerful, there was no point. You could do anything you want. You never needed to use potions. So this would make a lot of those scrolls and a lot of those potions that were in part 1 actually pretty useful. Magic armor. Magic armor absorbs magic damage. As long as your magic armor is above 0, you're immune to magic statuses like burning and stunned. Okay. Movement. The distance you can move, the distance you can run with 1 action point. Initiative. Initiative determines turn order. During combat, teams take turns attacking. Individuals with higher initiative will move up in turn order. Okay. So we have 15 initiative from just having the wits. So I can see how you can manipulate, okay, by just spending on wits, you can manipulate which one of your characters will go first, which could be very beneficial if you have certain order of spells that you want to see happen every time you fight. Alright, experience. Your level defines how far your character has advanced. Next level, the amount of experience required to level up. So we need 2,000 experience. Fire resistance reduces the damage from fire-based attacks. Same with water, same with earth, same with air, and same with poison. So these are all your elemental resistances. So notice there is no longer tenebrium resistance. So I guess they just completely said we don't care about tenebrium anymore. It's kind of funny. They would completely remove an entire mechanic that was in the part 1. Alright. So combat abilities. Abilities. Abilities shape what characters can do and how well they do it. Understood. Alright, so we've already went over all of those. So currently we have 2 in polymorph. Then we have civil abilities, so we have 1 in persuasion. We're getting 1 from our ancestral knowledge. Then we have our talents. Then we have our tags. So elf, soldier, barbarian, female. Okay, so that is the inventory panel and the character sheet. Okay. Next is K, the skill panel. Alright, so schools of magic, all. So I guess once we get more different schools, that'll change. Skills cost 1 memory. Slots used, 3 of 3. So we have the available skills, the memorized skills, and reset all. Let's reset all. Okay. Then left click, left click. What if we right click? Nothing. Left click. Okay. So that's what that does. So it didn't reset the innate skills though. It only reset the memorized skills. Alright. So that's that. Looks like we can scroll with these arrows over here. Once we get more companions. Okay. So that's K. Then we have G, crafting panel. Crafting panel. This is the crafting screen. Select or drag items into the crafting slots and hit the combine button. Valid combinations will be added to your recipe book. Alright. So we have filter all equipment, consumables, magical, ingredients, miscellaneous, all. Yeah, scroll bar. We have recipes, combine, and runes. So if I were to try to combine those, it shouldn't be a recipe, but maybe it is. Alright, so it says invalid combination. So I can also do that. I can go with like that to make it up there, or I can drag it up there. Or I can drag it down, or I can drag it up and click on it. So there's just many ways of getting up there. So yeah, to experiment, you can basically combine anything in the game, or at least attempt to, and it'll tell you if it's going to be a recipe. So looks like here the portrait, we can again scroll back and forth between characters. Let's look at the recipes. Okay, so we actually have recipes. That's weird. Alright, so show unavailable. So that takes all of them away. Show unavailable. So it shows that we actually have multiple recipes. Okay. So makeshift club. Sharp rock. Sharp rock. Sharp rock. Long branch. Potions. Physical armor potion. Amadouar. And an empty potion bottle. It's just a physical armor potion. Amadouar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't even know what that is. Looks like a fungus though. Alright, maybe it's a mushroom. Then we have grenades. Bottle filled with oil. Any oil source. Empty bottle. Bottle filled with oil. Firestorm grenade. One fuse. One bottle filled with oil. Gives us a firestorm grenade. And then a fuse. One rope. One rope gives us a fuse. Okay. And it looks like we can search, so let's say we collapse these and search for grenade. So yeah, we can search for it. Fires club. Yeah. What if we do unavailable and try to do it? Nope, it still finds it. Okay. And then we can exit out like that. Okay, that's cool. And then we have runes. Enchant items, select gear. You don't have any items that can be enchanted right now. So this is new. There was no such thing as runes in part 1. So this is completely new. Interesting. Alright, so that's the crafting panel. M is the world map, and we've already looked at that. So that. Then we have L, and we've already looked at that. Then we have toggle actions. Enter sneak mode, 4 AP, enter or exit sneak mode. So we click that. We are sneaking. So in Divinity 1, C was the shortcut, and it is here as well. Alright, so yeah, alright. Then we have unsheath. Prepare your weapon for combat. Look at that. So, basic attack. 2 AP, attack with your current equipped weapon. Oh, neat. Okay. So she does all kinds of stuff here. Okay, so she's... Ow. That seems like it would hurt. What happens if we go backwards? That is a weird attack. She's just like, I'm gonna fall on you with my hips. God, okay. So unsheath, so sheath it up. Oh, that was weird. Okay, I like how she goes into it though. Let's backflip, ready to go. That could have used better work. That's interesting. Alright, so that's what that does. If you notice here above the hit points, you see that shield icon in the center? And it looks like it's split between two sides. So I bet that's where you would see physical and magical armor whenever we get to that point. Okay. So that is the UI, at least what we know for now. Alright, so next episode we will begin searching the hold. Alright, later guys.